Hello again, everybody. Welcome back in. In this edition of Forerunner News, we're going to be discussing some reworks that are going on to some heroes and also gear. Some sets are going to be biffed up a little bit. So we'll go over all of that. Let's start with the heroes. So what I'm going to do here for Falcia is that I'm going to go through here the changes that they are highlighting, and then at the same time, I'm going to try to post right beside me here what the current description is, so you can kind of get an idea of how much we are gaining or we are losing based on the stats that are being thrown at us here. So essentially what they're saying here, number one, is Falcia is now going to be part of the Esotericist faction as well to the Northerners, so she'll have dual faction designation. Her basic attack now will deal 95% damage to one enemy at one time, so it's going to be both physical and magic damage. If you look, if I remember correctly, 75% right now. So I'll make sure that we post tidbits from the current kit, so you can get an idea of how much this is increasing. Her talent, after 6 basic attacks, gains Demon Slayer Stance for 12 seconds, and also then gains the specialized attack speed. Her Demon Slayer Stance now increases attack by 25%, and her basic attack deals an extra 200% through damage, and the Shadow Slash deals an extra 300% through damage 5 times. I believe that is 160-60. So if that is true, it'll show up here. But yeah, that looks to be a little bit more significant from what it was previously. Her Shadow Slash deals 200% physical and magic damage 5 times to one enemy. If the target dance, then it continues attacking other enemies. Her Demon Slayer's Might, the attack deals extra damage equal to 20% her shield strength. So this might, you might want to pair with the Northerner for this. Adrenaline Rush, during the Demon Slaying stance, each basic attack grants a shield equal to 50% attack for 7 seconds. Never mind, she is gaining her own shield, even as an esotericist, stacking up to 80% of attack. Okay, so we want to probably build her with a lot of attack for this to take effect. Her awakenings are also being adjusted. Number 1, Ultimate reduces target's damage by 30% for 15 seconds. Okay, this could be applicable to Abyss 1, especially if we have an esotericist team that we can throw in there. Certainly there's some play here if this is in fact a very good chance for her to do this. Every 100 attack speed increases all damage by 1%. So if we can get her to 400, it'll be an additional 32%. Okay, that's not bad. When shielded, it reduces damage taken for the hero by 20%. Okay, so she doesn't take as much damage when shielding. At Awaken 5, though. So we do have to take it. So this part, this major rework here, it has to signal us that there may be a Falcia limited banner coming back. And we're due for her to come back. So this actually, will actually hopefully puts her maybe in the Kagiri range, so we can actually maybe utilize her for some of the stuff that is currently going on in game if they're going to throw us another banner. So that'll be really interesting. Not only that, her artifact is also getting a little bit of a buff. Currently, the effect increases critical damage by 30 to 45% based on how you level it up. And this will now increase single target damage by 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30%. Okay? Says here that the current version extends Demon Stance duration by 2 seconds. That remains the same. And instantly gains Demon Slayer Stance when Shadow Slash is activated. That remains the same. So essentially what they're doing is that instead of increasing the critical damage that she gets, because I do think that it eventually caps out, it increases the single target damage now. by up to 30%. I think that this will be a lot better than the critical damage increase that we see here. The other thing with Solcadens. So I will cover this in another video because I did collect some stats on this. We were informed that the new Pyro Blitz was bugged. So things changed. And so now that it has been reduced, they adjusted the wording on that Pyro Blitz. So I'll cover that. But in addition to this is that now they're going to even add on further to that, the Pyro Blitz damage now inflicts a stun for 2 seconds. So this is for those of you that might have been using them as a single mage, or maybe you only have another Inferno, or there is something else that you're using the Pyro Blitz besides just smacking a boss. So they're going to add some CC to him in there. They're also going to work up Calypso. This is the one that I'm probably looking a little bit more forward to because she is one of the originals. So we'll look to see how she now benefits from all of this. New talent. Each seal stone grants 4% attack. Remember, she can gain up to 5 if you have her awaken 5. Her evil power added additional effect. Okay, so this attack also inflicts 20% vulnerability on the target for 7 seconds. This is physical damage vulnerability. Will certainly, if this is applied to the test server as well, I'll jump in there and see what we can do with her. And at Awaken 1 now, they added the additional effect that it increases initial rage by 500. It gets to those seal stones a lot quicker. Okay, Titus, he's getting a rework, but it's all about his cost. They're reducing it from 31 to 22. I think that this is something that we've been asking for, reducing his cost. So this should help. One, maybe there could be other stuff that they could have added to him, like maybe he gains health when he's doing damage, whatever damage he can deal. But just, you know, something that could probably make him sustain a little bit longer. But this will certainly help in his utility, especially early on. Malvara, apparently there was an issue with her Oath of the Dam, and that sometimes the triggered enemy could be inaccurate. I didn't pick this out during my testing, so it must have been something that they must have picked up from when they were doing their own testing. They fixed an issue when inspiration stats could sometimes be incorrect when multiple heroes with inspiration are present on the battlefield. Okay, I don't think that I noticed this when I was setting things up, but somebody else might have picked it up and they reported it in. The other thing I think that a lot of people are going to be intrigued about is what exactly the Cataclysm and the Lament changes are. And to me, it looks to be minor, but at least it's a step in the right direction. So the Cataclysm set, every crit hit increases the hero's damage by 9% right now. They're increasing this now to 10%. So instead of stacking up to 45, now it can stack up to 50% for the 5 seconds. All right, and then Lament. So what they're doing here is that they are increasing the damage, so it goes from 30 to 35%, and the critical damage by 40 to 50%. And it still lasts for 12 seconds. I don't think that for what I think about this, I mean, we'll take more damage because the set is weak as it is, okay? But it wasn't about really whether the critical damage or how much damage it was doing. Is the fact that some of the heroes that they made exclusive gear for and they put them in the set have longer ultimates than these 12 seconds. So I think that if they would have extended maybe the time that it lasts for this to match some of the heroes that they made exclusive gear for, then maybe it would be a bigger buff. But again, at 30 and the critical damage at 40%, it never even cuts up to Soul Arcana. I'm not sure that 35 and 50% will do it. But again, we'll test this, right? This is all about the ultimate, so we have to really test this to get that determination if this is indeed a good enough buff. For those of you with the ancient healing pieces, so they're referring here to probably the salvation set and the light gray set. They're going to include attack percentage and HP percentage. Perfect. It makes sense for that set. And they're going to decrease the probability of crit rate and crit damage appearing on these pieces. All right. So they acknowledge that some of the subsets were not matching, so they're going to change that for us. Perfect. They also say they optimized the display of exclusive gear information in the shop. You can now preview secondary attributes for the gear. Perfect. This is probably for the gear dungeon shop. So you can click on the piece and you can look to see what the subset is. So you can make a decision if you do want to invest that currency and get that piece. Also, the upgraded point event rewards and tiers effective 4/17. So it'll be a while before we see what the new tiers, what new rewards there are for some of these events. So I guess we'll take that as well. All right, so that's pretty much it for Forerunner news. The bigger thing here is Falcia. Falcia is getting a major rework, and so is Calypso. Calypso gets a talent. She gets a little bit more effects being added to her kit as well. So we'll definitely look to see how much this attack, this increase in attack, boosts her damage. The fact that if we have her awaken 1, we get more rage. This all does lead to possibly her dealing a little bit more damage, and also this the fact that now she can inflict vulnerability will also help as well. All right, folks, that'll do it for this video. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. I will see you all in the next one.